From Team DMA. So bring you another video. I'm trying to do it pretty quick, but slow down, of course. So I saw this deck on Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro 2 of sprites or sprites, however you want to call it. So basically, you already know how that works. They're just putting bodies on the board. Some of the frogs that are going in the graveyard are just coming back and forth, and then they're just special summoning from the deck. You know how it goes, and then they end up getting all 5 monsters, and then they just link those, and sometimes they'll do it just purposely to bring more to XYZ, and then you have like a bunch of negations, interruptions, somewhere around 7 or 8 on the field if you just let it do what it wants, right? So I'm just gonna go over it real quick. So basically the deck, it took 6 in a row winning. It did singles. I didn't see it do it any full matches. However, some of these guys, just like myself, you do full matches once in a while, but you do a bunch of singles. So yeah, I followed him and he did 6 singles, all won. The opponents didn't stand the chance. So the most I seen it board out was, I think it was like 7 negations. I think there was like 4 negations and then like 2 or 3 interruptions. So we're gonna go at it and we're gonna take a look at it. So here we go. So at this point, because I already know that before I even start, I'm already thinking, so I'm not gonna end up going for Dragoon. The field that I'm gonna set up isn't gonna be like extravagant, but it's just gonna be enough to make me survive second turn. If I would have drawn a better combo, I would have boarded out with 4, 5, even 6 negations and beat it immediately. But at this instance, you should already know a Dragoon, because we have to be very honest. Like Dark Magician players, a lot of time, everything I say, like almost 100%, I would say like 95%. I'm talking about Dark Magician decks. I don't care about the other decks. That's for other channels. But for Dark Magician, 1 Dragoon and with 1 interruption or negation, not 3, just like 1. So 1 Dragoon and either 1 negation or 1 interruption is the same like having your board empty. Like if you didn't play nothing, like if you drew 5 cards and you ended your turn without playing nothing, considered similar to like a brick hand. A lot of people don't know that having a Dragoon with a negation or 1 interruption is the same, very similar to a brick hand. Basically, when you go to top tier or like tier 0 or tier 1 decks that can easily board out 6, 7, 8 negations and that go undefeated, they can do up to 8 matches full, no losses, even taking the best out of 3 all the time, like not even a single duel loss. Or they can even go upwards. I've followed some people, they go up to like 26 single duels without any losses. These decks, when you put up Dragoon with 1 negate, it's the same. Like if you ended your turn, it means nothing to them. So because of that, I'm gonna go a second route. I'm gonna be going into Dragon Knight. Obviously, they're gonna be trying to wipe our back row, wipe the Dragon Knight. You can trigger the Eternal Soul to protect it, and then trigger it again to activate the effect, so it can come back in the field and banish. So obviously, as you already know, the opponent's gonna be special summoning. I mean, if you let this deck do its thing, last time I counted, it was like 16 special summons is what it was doing. And on the board, there was, I think, like 3 or 4 XYZs, and he had like the rest of the zones with links. And then they also have a bunch of spells and sometimes some traps in the back. This one specifically usually just does a bunch of spells, and all the spells do effects of either popping cards, returning cards, stuff like that. So basically, that's why nobody could beat it. So I could have done the super poly, but obviously decided not to, and it doesn't matter. There's no excuses, no complaints, just results. So I ended up bringing the Dark Magician because I already know the frog, and they have a sequence where they bring specific frogs, because there's a lot of it's a frog deck, and the problem with the frog is when it comes out, it goes to the graveyard, then they'll either XYZ or they'll link, and they bring it back, and it just keeps coming back and back, and then by the time you figure it out, you're looking at 7-8 negations or interruptions, and it's too much. You can't handle it. So basically you waste your time. So for me, the moment I see the pattern and I see the frog, I just banish it. I'm not gonna deal with it, but obviously you're gonna have to deal with the other 11 or something special summons that he's gonna be bringing, but it's not gonna be as potent. So he's probably gonna be setting up 3-4 interruptions or negations compared to going past like 6. So in this case, I banished it. So he's gonna continue to do his follow-ups, and so very typical. And then you already know the whole point on this specific case. He's bringing other monsters from the deck because he has it looks like a 3-type engine deck. So at this point, if you rewind it here, he's gonna be playing, he has this engine in it, and then he also has the diviner. There's a sequence that you're doing it. So with the Pearly, so what is going on with those cards is they're just going into the XYZ, and he's just sending cards as he pleases back to the hand. So it's non-targeting, so it tries to pop it, but Dragon Knight stops it. So we take the hit, and then we survive it. So it was a good idea because there was no way 2 negations could stop everything he did. So I decided to go this route, and it paid off. So now we're going to try to get him back. So the thing about these decks, they even play during your turn, similar to what's that deck that everyone loves, the Tirlamin Ishizu. So basically, when they're playing their whole deck, and then when you're playing, they're also playing their whole deck. They're also establishing, so they're playing during both turns. It feels very similar to dueling 2 duelists at two decks at the same time is the feeling you get. That's why a lot of Dark Magician players don't upload duels like this, because they don't want you to see how much they suck. You know, when their opponent is putting up 6, 7, 8 negations, and they're just destroying your whole field. You got nothing on the field. So he just chained, he's setting up, and then obviously he's gonna be doing more combos during my turn, and he's just setting up all over again. So we're just gonna be playing around some of the combos he's doing, and we're gonna board out Dragon Knight again. Obviously you want to bring him right away. You don't want to wait for next turn, because if you don't play turn for turn, like he plays something, you get rid of it all, and then you play something, he gets rid of it all. If you wait, if you do one turn and you set up without getting rid of nothing, in his turn he would have it's like you skipped a turn, similar to having a brick hand and ending your turn. You can't do that. There is no such thing as winning a duel like that. So you have to keep up. So the first turn, the Dragon Knight set up basic, and then all it is survival mode, and he knows that, you know that, and then the hit, Dragon Knight defended, and then after that we bring him. We're gonna be banishing, and then from there boarding out for us, and whatever he's bringing, as you can see, he's doing a bunch of chains and combos as well. At the same time he's doing all that, we're gonna try to get rid of everything that he's doing. So here we go. So, and if you read it right here, the effects, and so there you go. So the deck is gonna be throwing the fairies very easily, as he already did, even the other turn. But the thing is, what we're gonna be doing is getting rid of everything now, not later. So we're gonna get rid of that, get rid of that, get rid of that, and then we banish the other one. And then we're not gonna stop there. We're gonna go ahead and chain, and then Dark Magic attack, get rid of everything. So if you notice the field, we established, we survived, he got rid of everything. Now we return him the favor. We got rid of everything on his field, and then we're gonna protect our field, including the back row. And now we're going to be going into chaining, drawing into the deck, from the deck drawing more cards, from the draw chaining to special combos of the AC 130, AC 130. At the end of the combo, of the draw combo, it actually gets the right hand as extra pies, making your deck thinner and setting up the deck, establishing it with the Dragon Knight. And then we're going to be bringing what's the name, Celine Queen. So there is a purpose. We don't know what's going to happen, so we're going to want to bring out Dark Magician twice. Why? Because the first time you want to bring it out, you want to make sure the right hand goes through. You don't want them to attack it. No spellcasters, and the first spell is going to go. So basically what we have to do right now is we're going to have to negate or banish or destroy or interrupt 4 cards that he has. So luckily on the board we have here 1, 2, 3, and then this is 4, and then we have 5. Now people are going to argue and say, hey, Eternal is not an interruption. They're actually lying to you. It is, because you can fetch the Dragon Knight back, and that means nothing's blown up if they destroy it. Now if you want to argue that, it would be a lie, because if you replace it for the simple Dark Magician, they can go past the right hand and they get rid of the background, then you lose, right? But because the Dragon Knight's on the field, Eternal Soul is an interruption, because now they get rid of it and then it comes back again. And then you're going to be triggering the circle, and then they have to get through the 3000 all over again, plus they can't destroy the back row all over again. So you establish it twice. So it's a very dangerous loop. And then on top of all that, you're going to be negating the first spell. Like I said, banishing. They have to deal with the 3000 hitter. And at the very end, after all the cards are played, if there's more issues, and he's going to be linking and taking you out, because a lot of people don't understand these top tier decks, tier 1 or tier 0. If you leave them 2 cards, they can board out. I've seen this deck already. So can't take it easy. You can't be nice. So we're going to trigger the effect, bringing it, ensuring that the first spell gets negated. That's one negation. Triggering the effect, route to my hand, then he's going to be chaining. So I want to make sure that he doesn't get past anything that I do. So we are going to be triggering the skill drain in the future in case there's any issues. But first, you want to bring the Dark Magician, because the Eternal has already been used up. It's not going to be bringing Dragon Knight back. So from that, we're going to be go ahead and banishing. So that's the 2. And it's going to play it again, and it's going to start the chain sequence against the board out on the field. And there he goes. And then from there, we're just going to go ahead and stop the whole charade. So after that, the negation. So that was, it was 4 consecutive moves that we were doing. So in technical aspect, you know, he was doing a lot of combos, and he was supposed to technically win, but you know, the sequence of the defending, of the surviving, of the negating, of the banishing, of the, like, it's a specific sequence. Instead of the Dragon Knight instead of the Dragoon in some cases, gives you a more preferable board and survival, and also through the future increasing the first negation, second, and establishing 3, 4, like that, all the way up to 6. This deck, I think it does 6 to 7. I could be wrong. The most I've done was 6, but I think it could do more. But because I had one where I did 7 or 8, I believe. And if you have any questions, leave it in the comment, and I'm gonna be uploading that video so that you can see it. I believe it was 7 or 8 negations against the opponent. So at that point, there was nothing he could do. It was more negations than he had cards. So basically at this point, we're willing to take a back row removal, but if you see his field, there's pretty much nothing he could do. So we basically negated or interrupted in one way or another 4 cards, one after another. So even though we negated or banished specific cards, it didn't matter. He just replayed them again and again and again. If you have any questions or concerns, let me know. You can go back to the duel, see it all over again. Now, if you see this duel play anywhere, you run into it, and you're pro, you need help, you have questions, go ahead and ask me. But this board can I can be honest with you, this specific deck, together with a bunch of tier 1s and tier 0 styles, they can easily special summon 16, 17 monsters onto the board. The whole purpose of that is for them to either be link climbing, or they're going to be doing XYZ monsters, and then from there they're going to try to establish 4 to 5 negates or interrupts on you, so the cards that you have, they're going to be worthless, you know. So there you go. Hopefully some of that made sense to you, and please comment, let me know if you have any questions. Like I said, the hand wasn't the best, but you saw the results, and then I'm also going against like a tier 1 style, a deck that's undefeated. So if I wouldn't have been able to protect the Dragon Knight or banish even from the beginning and protect my back row, then obviously you get wiped, and on this field there's 5 monsters and then they just all attack you and you die. Obviously, as the game progresses, he's gonna be taking over to where you have nothing to do, but you always have to fight back. So with that having been said, you guys, hopefully you understood dark magic attack.